Here's the paragraph that I want us to consider from NSSM 200. The U.S. economy will require large and increasing amounts of minerals from abroad, especially from less developed countries.
We cannot have Africa united or in control of its own resources. So that was a factor because it had such an impact in America.
How can we help foster the public-private partnerships, bringing American capital and expertise and standards to Africa so that we can keep exploiting, so that we can exploring where we can get these minerals.
Hello, my great and wonderful people. We welcome you once again to our today's episode of this program. And today, I will first of all beg you, before we proceed, if you come across this video and you refuse to share this video for all the social media platform, when it be say you know, which is you yourself, you'll be problem to the development or creating awareness for the betterment of this nation, Nigeria. I accuse you when you hear me so. You understand? Because I quite understand, say, information when they say we want to share right now, we get a lot of videos concerning what they happen today. And this information, not be information when they say if they happen now, they not be new thing. They have been on a social media space for quite a decade. But because of say, we know they read, we know they do our research, and even if we get people when they say they do the research, our own, with the sideline information like this, we know they do anything to share and so that people when they say they will fit take this matter up, will get the information. We know they do anything. So now, it gets other videos when we don't first showcase to you concerning this U.S. congressman when it be say come answer to expose how it be say Barack Obama regime then from 2015 they sponsor Boko Haram and every other insurgency for Africa in order to destabilize the security system and the peace of Africa so that they will feed they exploit our mineral resources.
$697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding.
All right. Now, this video, when we say just watch, so not be new video. We don't already showcase these videos to you. You don't already they are aware of them. The reason why we revisit that video because of other videos when we want to showcase to you, because this video now it generate the fire when it be say it make us go for more research. Now, it get this other video when we say we want to showcase to you when we say we receive from this our journalists for this country, Nigeria, when it be say all of us love so much, Rufai Oseni. Yesterday, we received an interview where it be say for grant interview to one notable Nigeria for this country concerning this video of this U.S. Congress when it be say name na Scott Perry, where if for allege say all the issue when it be say with the face here, now the hand of the U.S. they for inside. Now the question when it be say Rufai they ask the old guests. It shock us to the bone. Say, this issue, they come out from the mouth of Rufai.
Get your comments as regards the USAID case. An American congressman has said that monies were funneled to fund groups causing mayhem in Nigeria. What's your take on that, sir?
Well, thank you very much for having me on your program again. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Nayo. Good morning, Professor K. I listened, Rufai, I listened to you earlier on this morning, and you say you want facts, because really you are not buying into this narrative about USAID funding Boko Haram. Well, I'd like to give you some facts. I served on the Boko Haram committee. Now, 2 + 2 at times has to be equal to 4. So even if I can't give you 4, but I can give you 2 plus 2, we would then have to come to the conclusion that I'm giving you 4. I served on that committee, and villagers kept telling us that in the middle of the night, helicopters piloted by white people kept landing and offloading guns, goods, and all kinds of and money to these people. Now, villagers they don't even know who these white people are, and they have no reason to lie to us. Now, we made a mistake. When I said we, some of us on the Boko Haram committee made a mistake. We thought it was the French that were doing this. Now we have an American congressman said, no, it was the Americans who were doing this. And when you then add that to the Obama administration refusing to sell weapons to us, to Nigeria, on the grounds that we had human rights violations in the way we were dealing with Boko Haram, not in the way we were dealing with ordinary Nigerians where there were no security issues. Then we got a plane that was going to go and buy weapons in South Africa. Someone tipped off the South Africans. It wasn't a Nigerian who tipped off the South Africans. Who tipped off the South Africans? You have to come to a conclusion that it has to be a power that had access to information and that was able to do that. No, please,
I just wanted to ask something.
Please.
All right, we will bring back that video. I just want you to pay attention to the question when we say Rufai. Ask when we get problem with, and we equally get problem with Rufai. Now, the reason why basically we go deep to do our research in order for us to bring more evidences to people like Rufai. We know, say, he be journalist. In case, although this man answered the question, we want to add more evidences for Rufai to go for work and research as a journalist to do a work. We love this man, but this very one, no, we know we'll take him from her. All right, listen to the question again and the response to this man before we continue to bring you much video from the white people.
Did the villagers identify the people dropping the weapons as Americans? That's just all I want to ask. Did the villagers also tell you that, they were Americans, they spoke English? I just want to identify that, sir. Did the villagers also identify them as Americans?
I just told you. Now, Rufai, if you are not going to listen to me, I will stop talking so you can continue doing the talking. I have said so. I said the villagers knew these were white people. And I said we who were on that committee made the mistake of thinking they were French. But now it is an American congressman who's telling us that it was the Americans who did this. And you're asking me whether the villagers told us they were Americans. The villagers who don't know French from Americans, from British, they just knew that these were white people.
All right.
And they not only did that, they also penetrated our armed forces. Because behind the scene, our boys would tell us that there were times when they will have Boko Haram people in the sight of their guns, and they will now ask their headquarters for permission to open fire, only for their superior officers to tell them to pull back and not open fire. That shows the extent to which there was penetration and destabilization of our own security forces. Now, who will do this? Who will destabilize our security forces? There were Nigerians also who were involved. And this is where I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to mention names, but people who were going to the United States, who were leading delegations to the United States during this period. Our ambassador there, unfortunately, is dead now, but he wrote reports about the activities of these Nigerians, some of them governors, who were involved with the State Department and who were also involved with the White House and what they were doing. Now, who were the people who organized trips for Hillary Clinton and Kerry? Who will ignore Abuja and fly over Abuja to go and hold meetings with political operatives in parts of Nigeria without clearance with our own Aso Rock and our own foreign office?
Okay,
All right,
Prof.
Hillary Clinton and Jerkana were American officials.
Prof, can I have a follow-up?
Yes.
Prof, and I have a right to ask questions as a journalist because
Yes.
I don't have a dog in this fight. I just want
know.
the truth. That's just it.
And neither do I.
And my point is, let us investigate. But I also want facts. And that's why I deliberately did ask you that question. When you say you are putting two and two together, you must be able to give an empirical, tedious link. That's just my point. That's why I asked you that question pointedly. Did the villagers say the people they saw were Americans? And you said no, they said they saw white people. My second question is, who are the Nigerians? And what did that report say about them and what they were doing in the White House? And why did that report not come to light? Because, in all fairness, Prof, it's unfair for us to come here and say we don't want to mention names for a Boko Haram insurgency that has killed a lot of people. It's very unfair to the memories of our troops that are dead and people that are dying and lives have been destroyed. So if that report was out, why didn't that report get out there so that we can see the facts in that report written? And what are the names of these people that were meeting this top American hierarchy? And what are also the names of those people that infiltrated the military and that said our troops should not shoot at this Boko Haram? We just want facts. I don't have a dog in this fight. I just want facts as a journalist. And we have a right to what facts are and the truth is. That's why I asked my question, Prof. So I don't have a bone, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just after the facts.
Rufai, I agree with you. Neither do I. I also don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just a Nigerian, just like you. Now, if you take the newspapers during the period when Jonathan was in power, you will find the names and pictures of Nigerians in high places who were visiting Washington, pictures taken in the White House, pictures taken in the State Department. You will find those pictures. They are not hidden. And I cannot now go and look for those newspapers and hold up the newspapers, but those pictures are there. And in any case, if you Google Nigerians visiting Washington, governors, they are not unknown people, governors. And some of them are in the Senate, some of them are even who are occupying higher offices.
All right. I'm very sorry to say I need to leave you to watch this video to this very point because we get reason for them. Now, apart from waiting this man, don't tell Rufai Hussaini, and we love the last part of your own response. Say, if you pick up newspaper, the time of Jonathan, I think about 2014-15, and so they were still there on internet. if you search as a journalist, you will see the names of these people. Not be something when they say they do for dark. Right? Rufai, we love you so much, right? For the fact say we love you, not me say, if you dey match line, we know if we tell you. So you better be careful. The way when they say we take the and plus you when you do good, now so we will still use hand, hot hand, follow you when they say you the match line. All right? Now, apart from the evidence of this man, you don't expect a man like this to come outside and they tell you, say, Mr. Jumbo, Mr. O.C., Mr. Osumbo, na Iduan. No. You be journalists, do your work. And for you to do your proper work, we get all these other videos when we want the review to you one after the other. This will not be something to argue, right? If they come from the mouth of the sources. This will not be right up when we see you think say they manipulate them, right? Okay, watch this first video first. I'll come back for more.
Here's the paragraph that I want us to consider from NSSM 200. The U.S. economy will require large and increasing amounts of minerals from abroad, especially from less developed countries, LDC, as I just mentioned. That fact gives the U.S. enhanced interest in the political, economic, and social stability of the supplying country. So it's looking at the other countries and questioning their political, economic, and social stability. Wherever a lessening of population pressures through reduced birth rates can increase the prospects of such stability, population policy becomes relevant to resource supplies and to the economic interest of the United States. So, in other words, if we see a country growing in population, and obviously that would promote greater stability for that nation because people are, and we don't look at this from a utilitarian point of view, but people are the greatest resource, their gifts, their skills. So it's looking at them and saying, if those nations continue to rise in population, that becomes a threat to the United States.
All right, I believe say you hear this very man and the role of America concerning the Africa when they talk about most especially Nigeria, right? Now, I don't know whether each and every one of us still remember this man, the former army general of this country during the time of Abacha, Mustafa. Some time ago, this man come outside to talk about this Boko Haram as a calculated game, right? And also the purpose why Ibisi they plant Boko Haram for Sambisa Forest. I want you to refresh your mind with this video again. I'll come back for more. Before we they give you other videos, I beg, we get a long time to go. Just hold on.
And it is when you are fighting that you lose your resources. And I'll give you an example. In 1995, the need to look for resources to run African states became an issue. Nigeria was more or less totally bankrupt. The need to run Nigeria became an issue. Salary payment was difficult. Then Libyan government, along with Germany, decided to utilize a satellite from a private satellite company that has shares of government of Germany in it. They discovered uranium in abundance and in high quality, well spread in Niger. Out of curiosity, that leader and other leaders decided to say, scratch part of Nigeria and let's take a look. They were shocked with what they discovered. In Northeast, they discovered a portion. And that portion, in part of Zambeza, leading to Lake Chad. What was deposited there? This is not hearsay. I was in Libya, I was in attendance, along with Nigeria's ambassador, two of us allowed. Then he was later told to go, and I was left alone, along with the Libyan leader and the German company and the owners of the satellite. What was kept there was capable of producing 10 Dubais, 1996, You can quote me in the eyes of this world. Mustafa said so. I'm not into rhetorics. I love this country. I stand for this country. We are already targeted and hated by numerous forces. But if that is what they should do for us rendering service to Nigeria, then definitely they have not started. What we discovered at that material time was a shocker. So I asked questions, as if I didn't understood what they were saying. The Libyan leader then, may so rest in peace, said, and I quote, I mean, what is in this place is enough for you to produce 10 Dubais, 1996. The product of this satellite was brought to Nigerian head of state by me. I brought the 2 metallic boxes. Where is it? Who took it? What happened? Where is the money? Now hold on. What might interest you is what I'm going to say. Nigeria is poor. Your industries are dead. But hear this. 1999, November 1st, I was in prison. They came to meet me in prison. And they asked me numerous questions on the way we were managing some certain things about Nigeria. I wouldn't want to mention. They mentioned some names and commanders they required to do some certain jobs for them. But the question I asked is, was it for Nigeria? At the end of the day, to cut the story short, is to tell you that Boko Haram was a calculated game. No, I'm begging you, see, I want us to listen with patriotism as Nigerians, because when hopelessness confronts a person who is thirsty, unknown to him, he is standing on an oasis. He is dying of thirsty. He is looking for water and busy praying. But the senses to dig the water and then come back alive is the problem of Nigeria. You are rich, you have it, you are scavenging for it. Most unfortunately. Now, from that time till now is 23 years. People might not tell you this, I'm telling you. I'm ready to be accused, abused, it doesn't matter. I am here. Precious stone has been what they have been taking. Boko Haram were our sons and daughters given a wrong indoctrination. Taking opium from Afghanistan, the hashish in the world, mixing same with a certain chemical. When they dip a date in it, and then after 4 hours, whosoever takes it becomes a robot. You are totally robotic. You will respond to orders. You will not feel pain. You will not think. You will not reason. They kill numerous soldiers, many widows in barracks, many orphans littered all over, many refugees scattered around Nigeria. Is labor aware? Keep that aside.
All right, just because of time, because we get other videos when we want the review right now from the foreign body concerning this intentional exploitation of the resources of Africa. Now, as you hear from this Mustafa, he say for waiting they discovered that time, which is 1996, now part of Sambisa forest, right? Now, last statement from this man say, Boko Haram na calculated game. Then you ask yourself, which part of this country today, when this Boko Haram they take hostage, now that same part of Sambisa forest, where those resources, they thank God for the man, say it's still they bold enough to talk, say, now those resources that they exploit. And he make mention of something. They were going to be said that they solidify these people and waiting that they take. Who they produce those chemicals and the equipment to scavenge the resources. Then this one brings us back to the question, who they supply this Boko Haram, these sophisticated weapons, when they say that they confront our trained military men, when they say they're not defeat, they defeat them. Then, before we proceed, I will leave you to watch this other video when we receive from international body. We'll come back for more.
How can we help foster the public-private partnerships, bringing American capital and expertise and standards to Africa so that we can keep exploiting, so that we can exploring where we can get these minerals.
All right, my great and wonderful people. I believe say you see this congressman. This one a video going to be say don't day for public space for a while. See as the war stick for a mouth. How we want to facilitate this relationship. How we want to hold on to them. To make sure say we fit they exploit these mineral resources from Africa. Now he stick to this man mouth for public interview. Right? Now, apart from that, we they give all these evidences to people like Rufai Oseni and many more to go do their own investigation. May we not they add blind question for waiting don't already they open to each and every one of us. All right, you get this other video. We get more. You wait.
In Africa, yes, because there is a policy of the American government. It's called the Kissinger Report, which was produced in the mid-70s when Henry Kissinger was involved with the government. And it explicitly states, which to this day, it remains the official policy of the American government. It has not changed. It may not be implemented by Trump, but it remains the same. That the purpose of the foreign policy in Africa was to reduce the population. So to give aid to countries in Africa, not clean water and schooling and things like that, but contraception and abortion, in order to shrink the population of Africa because they have great mineral resources there.
That sounds diabolical.
It is, yes.
That sounds like something conceived in the mind of Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, definitely. And so at the time, Kissinger and those involved with the Carter administration wanted to shrink the population, make sure that the Africans do not develop and do not use the resources for themselves, because we in the States, we need them. There is a concerted effort of foreign powers to control the population of Africa. Africa is a huge continent, could feed thousands of more people, but the policies of the West, especially in Europe. For example, between 1990 and the year 2000, the United States, Canada, and Europe contributed about $6 billion in contraceptives, not to help the people, not to give clean water, clean food. That is
not to fight malaria, for example.
No, of course, perish the thought, never.
Yeah.
Let them die. That's the whole idea. So in our work in HLI, we denounced this reality to make the Africans aware that they have to defend themselves against the influence of foreign powers.
Is it just the United States, or do you believe that China is also playing a role in jockeying for the resources of Africa?
China is playing a major role because China is buying property in Africa. For example, in Mozambique, which is a Portuguese-speaking language country, they when Portugal was in charge of Mozambique, they used to export rice. Now they are importing rice from China because they cannot produce. The socialism has wrecked the production of rice. And the Chinese come and buy farms. So about almost a third of Mozambique belongs to China. So I was in other countries of Africa, the same reality. In South Africa, the Chinese are buying property, buying land in Africa. So and they send their own workers, the Chinese workers. They don't employ people of the place. They send their own workers to populate and to live in the place.
All right. I believe say you don't hear every single thing when it be say this man talk. You tell me everything when it be say they happen for Nigeria today. Which one fall away from waiting this man talk? From the aid when it be say that they give as an assistance to Africans and also our federal governments to the dying of our people and every other things when we say they happen within us, which one not be evidence to waiting they happen today? All right. After that one, we equally get this other video. You watch. We'll come back for more.
And if I can actually give one example, everyone can look this up if you're listening right now. In 2021, the U.S. Special Forces Perspective, under Mark Milley, our chairman of the Joint Chiefs, put out an entire instruction manual for how the U.S. military can work with the State Department and our intelligence services to organize a rent-a-riot, to destabilize a country in order to bring them to the negotiating table.
All right, I believe say you hear that man very well. I been at my ear, they pay me. Waiting he talk. To destabilize a country in order to bring them to a negotiating table. Whose country be those ones? Africa, now it be that. Although he will use his own mouth, measure. We never finish the video. I just want to re-emphasize for that word. What did they happen today? Oh yeah, but we continue.
They gave an example of a hypothetical West African country where a member of U.S. Special Forces is on a separate mission, driving down a highway, and notices a billboard for Chinese infrastructure investment into a new port in this Western African country. The unit takes note of this billboard on a highway in Western Africa with Chinese symbols on it. They do their own investigation and figure out that this is part of a real estate development project from Chinese investors, that as part of that development project will have the construction of a Chinese naval port in this West African country, where in theory China would then be able to project naval influence into the Atlantic Ocean. What the Special Forces Guide calls for is coordination with the State Department, coordination with our intelligence services, coordination with our psychological operations unit to take all of our assets in that West African region. And in that case, what they did is they planned to work with the unions. What they did is they embarked in a social media influence campaign. They would activate all their media assets, all of their civil society institutional assets, and all their union assets to have the union labor pool in that West African country. Well, actually, there was one thing that happened first, is they first then went, in this hypothetical, the State Department sent a delegation to persuade the West African country to forbid the development license to the Chinese developer. And the head of that West African government said no. Because something was happening in the hypothetical in the next 30 days, there was a time sensitivity to generate an instability event to stop this using time-sensitive emergency. And so the way they generated that was they worked with their union contacts in the region and the media contacts in the region and created this whole social media campaign to inflame the sentiments of the West African labor union workforce who were working for Chinese companies at the time. Because in this hypothetical, the Chinese mining firms and Chinese industry, was employing a lot of these Africans. And it was to destabilize the country, to bring the mines, to bring the factories, to bring all of the Chinese production in the region to a halt, and to put all these Africans out of jobs, and to bring the African government effectively to a standstill. At the same time, in their own Special Forces manual, it called for support from U.S. aid to provide these same striking miners alternative jobs, so that while they were striking from the Chinese labor companies, they were still getting paid by U.S. taxpayers. So they were financially bribed effectively to boycott Chinese industry and to devastate their own country's government, create this crisis, and then use the State Department delegation to go back to the negotiating table with the West African government and promise to end the destabilization if the development was halted. And in that hypothetical, the West African government then rejects the license for the real estate development of China, and that is declared as an unalloyed success by the U.S. Special Forces and their partner network in the State Department and Intelligence. And this is the way of our diplomacy in 2021.
All right. I believe say you hear every details of this very video. Abi, shall you see waiting America when it be say all of us they hope for say not there, but the God sent when he will come help us out of our situation. Right? When we they tell una say hope not they come from anywhere outside of us, hope not they anywhere. Una not they here. Abi? Now the reason why they say we go as far as this to gather all this information. It never finish. Be patient. We get other videos. Watch. We'll come back for more.
There were some very important books, of course, before the coup. You see, Africa Must Unite.
Tell us more about that.
And Neocolonialism, two of his major works. Well, Africa Must Unite, I mean, the title says it all, and that message is still valid today. But neocolonialism was in part responsible for the coup because it exposed, the workings of international finance capital in Africa. Actually gave charts showing the network of these big foreign companies that were exploiting Africa's resources. And that was probably the final straw in deciding this dangerous man has got to be removed, We cannot have Africa united or in control of its own resources. So that was a factor because it had such an impact in America. The American government immediately stopped aid to Ghana when that book was published, yes, and lodged a very strong diplomatic complaint, through their embassy in Accra, complaining about the book.
All right. I believe say you hear what this woman talk. If you not take anything from the speech of this woman, she talks, say, if Africa get control over their resources, it will get a great impact. Not be good one, negative impact on America. Now, there is why basically they do everything to make sure say they destabilize Africa in order for them to be able to get hold of the resources of Africa. Not be what they discuss for all the videos when they say we don't showcase since. Which one talk out of line? All right, he never finish. You wait, watch this last one before we come back for conclusion.
The kind of mineral resources we have in our country is enough to take care of everybody in that country. We should not have a single poor person in Sierra Leone. But unfortunately, we are not given the free will to make decisions on our own mineral resources. There's always Big Brother who decides. And when you fight and say, no, we are not going to do this, they use the system to stop you. It's either they set you up with the opposition and they'll be supporting the opposition against you from the back, or they cause unnecessary chaos in your country so that you are not able to even govern your own people. They will do things to make you not to be functionable. And of course, any country that don't have peace cannot develop. You have to have peace before you talk about development. I'll give you a simple example about Sierra Leone. Every mining company that is in Sierra Leone today is owned by a foreigner. Every mining company. If it's not the Chinese, it's the American, it's the British. Our electricity, Bumuda, is run by the British, and we still don't have light. We're looking for light, electricity. If you don't have electricity, how can you talk about education? How can you talk about health facility? How can you talk about improving the infrastructure of your country? We don't have electricity. Now, do we actually even have proper water, pipe-borne water, so that our kids will not be sick? We don't have those facilities. Why? With all the minerals we have, there is a cap you put. Before my husband became the president of Sierra Leone was benefiting, they said, what's the word? 0.000.1%. What is that? Basically, a company can take as much as $100 million out of the country in terms of minerals, and then they can just give the country $10,000. Now, what will $10,000 do for our health system? What is $10,000 do for our educational system? And these are the things I believe that are stopping Africa from progressing. We don't have a say. The sense about us celebrating independence, I don't know why we celebrate independence, because we are not free. That is my own take. I'm not speaking also on behalf of the government of Sierra Leone, nor am I speaking on behalf of His Excellency the President. I am speaking as Fatima, as a citizen of a country who believes that things need to change.
All right. I believe that this last one we don't very reveal to you before. The First Lady of Liberia. They cry. When she cry, come outside because of our own personal experience. Now we draw our line here. Just as we talked from the beginning. Share this video. Share them again and again. Don't tell me say na old videos. Because I wish as it dey old, say all of us take precaution to all this information when we say dey for our disposal. I not believe say we supposed to dey for the mess when it be say we dey today. Now the time when it be say this video get impacts to our lives and the happening in our society and in our community. Now we will talk say we don't hear. We never hear them until he make a change with the see opposite of waiting they tell us for our good, not be for our own bad. All right, we'll draw the line here. We'll see you again when we see you. Remember, we love you all. Bye-bye.